Hello student, in this video lecture we are going to discuss about the physiology of respiratory system. Before going to discuss about physiology of respiratory system, first we discuss about the pulmonary function test. As you know that it is a test to assess the proper functioning of lungs. It is used to assess volume of lungs and functional status of lungs in physiological and pathological condition. Next, we are discuss about the lung volume and capacities. The normal lung volume is known as tidal volume. Some volume are there. First is tidal volume. That means it is the amount of air which breathe in and out from lungs during single quit respiration. Amount is 500 ml. You must remember that the normal tidal volume is 500 ml. Tidal volume, that means एक ब्रीथ में आप कितना एयर अंदर लेते हैं, कितना बाहर निकालते हैं. नॉर्मल सिचुएशन, दैट इज कॉल्ड टाइडल वॉल्यूम. नेक्स्ट वन इज inspiratory reserve volume. It means additional amount of air which can be inhaled after normal respiration. आपने टाइडल वॉल्यूम अंदर लिया नॉर्मल में, उसके अलावा आप कितना मैक्सिमम आप इंस्पिरेट कर सकते हैं, दैट इज नोन एज इंस्पिरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम. मतलब फोर्सफुल इंस्पिरेशन, that amount is near about 3300 ml. नेक्स्ट आता है एक्सपीरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम. दैट मीन्स इट इज़ ए एडिशनल वॉल्यूम ऑफ एयर विच एक्सेल फोर्सफुली. ठीक है, दैट अमाउंट इज नियर अबाउट 1000 ml. दैट मीन्स आप एक नॉर्मल वैल्यू एक्सपीरेट करने के बाद फुल फोर्स के साथ और कितना वॉल्यूम बाहर निकाल सकते हैं, दैट इज़ 1000 ml. रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम, इट इज़ ए अमाउंट ऑफ एयर विच रिमेन्स इन टू द लंग्स आफ्टर फोर्सफुल एक्सपीरेशन. एक ऐसा वॉल्यूम जो आपके लंग्स में हमेशा रह जाता है, दैट इज़ कॉल्ड रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम. इन केस ऑफ सीओपीडी एम्फाइसेमा, रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम इज इंक्रीज. सीओपीडी के केसेस में रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम, क्रॉनिक ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव पल्मोनरी डिजीज सीओपीडी, दैट मीन्स रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम बढ़ जाता है. नेक्स्ट आता है फोर्स एक्सपीरेटरी वॉल्यूम, amount of air which exhale in a second, that is called force exhalatory volume. Next we are discussing about lungs capacity. First one is inspiratory capacity. It is the amount of air can be inspirate after the end of expiration. ठीक है, इंस्पिरेशन मतलब आप एक्सपिरेशन करने के बाद जितना अमाउंट ऑफ एयर इंस्पिरेट कर सकते हो उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, आइदर नॉर्मल और बाय द फोर्स. तो नॉर्मली वी कैन इंस्पिरेट द टाइडल वॉल्यूम, दैट इज 500 ml, एंड फोर्सफुली वी कैन इंस्पिरेट inspiratory reserve volume, that is 3300. That means the total capacity of inspiratory capacity is 3800. Functional residual capacity, it is the volume of air remains in the lungs after normal expiration. Next one आता है functional residual volume. It is the volume of air remains in the lung after the normal expiration. आपने नॉर्मल एक्सपिरेशन कर दिया, ठीक है, उसके बाद आपके लंग्स में जो अमाउंट बच गया, दैट इज कॉज फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल कैपेसिटी. दैट इज फंक्शनल रेजिडुअल कैपेसिटी, दैट मीन्स एक्सपिरेटरी रिजर्व वॉल्यूम प्लस रेजिडुअल वॉल्यूम. ठीक है, दैट इज नियर अबाउट 2200 ml. Vital capacity is the maximum amount of air that can be expelled out forcefully after the maximum inspiration. कैसे होगा ये vital capacity? That means tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume plus expiratory reserve volume. एक amount जो कि continuous एक inspiration expiration में with forceful और normally काम में आता है, that is called vital capacity. The total lung capacity, maximum amount of air present in the lungs after deep inspiration, that is called total lung capacity. That means total lung capacity equals to tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume plus expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. That is near about 6000 ml. Next we are going to discuss about the physiology of breathing. First we are discussing a term that is called ventilation. Ventilation means the rate at which air enters into lungs and leaves the lungs. It is the cycle process in which air enters into the lung from atmosphere and the carbonate of air breathe out. It is two types of ventilation, pulmonary ventilation and alveolar ventilation. The pulmonary ventilation, also called respiratory minute volume, it is the cycle process in which the fixed amount of air enters into the lungs in a minute. Pulmonary ventilation equals to tidal volume into breathe in a minute. So we can take normally 12 breath in a minute, if and the tidal volume is 500, the total pulmonary ventilation is 6000 ml. Alveolar ventilation, that means amount of air which use for gas exchange. ठीक है, हम टोटल कितना इंस्पिरेट कर रहे हैं, एक्सपिरेट कर रहे हैं, दैट इज़ नॉट द considered under it. In this alveolar ventilation we just considered the amount of air which used for gas exchange. In respiratory tract from nose to terminal bronchi no gas exchange take place, so 150 ml of air remains in the space known as the dead space. ठीक है, only 350 ml air used for gas exchange as alveolar ventilation. Alveolar ventilation equals to tidal volume minus dead space into breath per minute. Tidal volume normally 500 ml, dead space जो कि no gas exchange, जहाँ पे किसी तरह का gas exchange नहीं हो रहा, that is called dead space, that contains near about 150 ml of air into 12 normal breath in a minute. So the alveolar ventilation amount is near about 4 to 4.2 liters per minute. Transport of gases. Oxygen transported 3% dissolve in directly dissolve in blood, that is physical form. 97% bind with the hemoglobin and form the oxyhemoglobin molecule. 1% 1 Hb contains 4 molecules of oxygen. 1 gram Hb contains 1.34 ml oxygen. 100 ml blood contains 15 gram Hb plus into 1.34 ml oxygen, that's near about 19 ml oxygen. Carbon dioxide dissolved in blood 7%, with bicarbonate it travels near about 63%, and with carboamino compound Hb plus protein carboxyhemoglobin, that is near about 30%. So next we are discuss about the physiology of respiration. In the physiology of respiration, we putting the inspiration, it here you can see inspiration is a action process by which air enters into the respiratory system. First, what are the action are happened in our body during the inspiration? Diaphragm external intercostal muscles are stimulated, that simultaneously stimulate diaphragm, descent, ribs cage moved outward, increase the size of thoracic cavity, that increase of size of thoracic cavity, that decrease the pressure of pressure inside of lungs, that cause the negative pressure. From the environment air enters into the lungs, that is called inspiration. Okay, so inspiration. Next we are discussing about expiration. In the expiration, it is a process do not need energy. Expiration do not need any type of energy, just the diaphragm and intercostal muscles are relaxed. Diaphragm, if it is in relaxed position, move upward, and external muscles move inward, increase the pressure within the thoracic cavity, positive pressure creates in the lungs air out from the lungs. This is called the expiration. Next we are discussing about the muscles of respiration in the next class. Till that, thank you student. You must keep your notes in front of you during seeing this video. That helps you to better understand. Thank you very much. Thank you student.